Hello guys, welcome to our channel. Today we are going to see about three nations which are predominantly at sea. At sea? No, it means at sea. Sea means crisis. These three countries are always grabbing the headlines for the last 3 months or even more. The three countries are Sri Lanka, Pakistan and Argentina. Before going into the details, let us look at some of the numbers of these three countries. First, the size of the country. Sri Lanka, an island nation in South Asia, has a size of 65,000 square kilometers. Pakistan, which is also in Asia, has a size of 880,000 square kilometers. Whereas Argentina, which is far away in South America and is the second largest country in South America, has a size of 2.7 million or 2,780,000 square kilometers. Next up, let's look at the population. Sri Lanka has a population of 22 million. Pakistan has a population of 234 million. Argentina, which is much bigger in size, has a population of 45 million, roughly two times the population of Sri Lanka. Next factor or number we are going to look is GDP. GDP or gross domestic produce is the capacity of the goods and services that is produced in a country within its borders. For Sri Lanka, the GDP is $89 billion. For Pakistan, the GDP is $348 billion. And for Argentina, the GDP is $487 billion. Okay, all three countries are so different in size, in population, in GDP, in location, and in all other aspects. So, what is so common between these three countries? Yes, there is crisis. That's fine. Apart from that, there is one important common factor. All three countries are primarily agriculture exporting countries or agriculture based economies. So, what do they export? Sri Lanka is a primary exporter of rice, and Pakistan exports rice, wheat, then cotton, among other produce. Argentina is one of the world's largest producers of soya beans. Also, they produce a lot of corn, wheat, among other produce. So, what is the connection between crisis and agriculture? Doesn't seem to have any connection, right? But there is a connection. The crisis primarily happened because of the agriculture. Let us look at the history and see how this happened. As mentioned before, Sri Lanka is primarily a rice based nation and they were having surplus production before the pandemic. So, what happened after the pandemic? There was a change in the government, and the government had implemented a new policy of moving towards organic agriculture. Organic agriculture is a good idea, but it definitely takes time. And this plan, when implemented suddenly, caused a complete drop in production. In 2005, Sri Lanka produced around 2 million metric tons of rice. 2019, it improved to 3.2 million metric tons of rice. Then, after this government policy change of moving to organic agriculture, you know how much the change was? It dropped, and it dropped to 1.9 million metric tons, just way before 2005. Imagine having 17 years of your hard work being wiped out within 1 year. On the other hand, Pakistan, they faced a severe flood, and due to this flood, their complete production of wheat, cotton, everything dropped. The drop was almost similar to Sri Lanka, it dropped by like 40%. Again, similarly in Argentina, the economic crisis started because of agriculture. There was a severe drought, and their production of soya beans, corn, wheat, and everything went down. And again, similar to Sri Lanka and Pakistan, the average dropped down by 40%. So, all three countries, they were not able to produce sufficient food, fill the groceries of the people, to fill the food needs of the people. So, what they had to do? They had to import food from outside. By importing food from outside, uh, their currency reserves or the foreign exchange reserves started dwindling, and they didn't have sufficient currency to transact further. Sri Lanka, at their lowest point, had around $900 million, which is around 1 month of what they could buy using their foreign exchange reserves. Pakistan has around $3 billion compared to $348 billion of the GDP, which is very, very low. Argentina, which has a GDP of $487 billion, has a foreign exchange reserve slightly better, like $34 billion. What happened again? The inflation went up. Inflation in Pakistan went up by 38%. Inflation in Sri Lanka went up by 56%. Inflation in Argentina went up by 102.5%. IMF was strongly against printing money. So these countries started printing money, and again, the value of their money came down. Say, for example, Sri Lanka, which had like a value of 155 Sri Lankan rupee for a US dollar in 2018, in 2023, it went up to 334 rupees for 1 US dollar. Pakistan, which had like similar to Sri Lanka in 2018, now it is having 280 rupees for 1 US dollar. Peso was the worst affected. Peso in 2000 is the Argentine currency. In 2001 was very similar to US. 1 peso was equal to 1 US dollar in 2001. In 2023, it is like 200 pesos. 1 US dollar is equal to 200 pesos. Imagine being equal to US in terms of economic value and monetary value, and increasing by 200 times in 20 years. It's really unfortunate. Three countries went to IMF. In 2022, Argentina, which is slightly higher in forex reserves, they have around like $34 billion in forex reserves and a bigger GDP. They got like $44 billion bailout package. Sri Lanka, see, around 2 weeks before, they got a bailout package of $2.9 billion. Pakistan is still waiting for the bailout package. There is one more country that is joining the list, that is Ghana, that is also currently facing exactly the same similar crisis. Like they have like 56% inflation, and they're again applying for IMF for a bailout. Okay, so now these countries are facing crisis recently. Is this the first time all these three countries are applying for IMF? No, they have applied for multiple times before this. So the total debt of these three countries are as follows. Sri Lanka has a total debt of $56 billion, and Pakistan has a total debt of $140 billion, and Argentina has a total debt of $270 billion. So from IMF, Sri Lanka has like around $1 billion, Pakistan has like $6 billion, and Argentina has recently like around $44 billion. So, so in terms of GDP, they have extremely high debt, and as mentioned in my previous video, IMF gives short terms to medium term loans. That means interest rate will be like similar to market rate or even sometimes slightly higher. So the interest will keep on adding, and to turn around all these three countries, even if they receive the IMF bailout, they have to work really, really hard. So, what are the key lessons we can learn from these three countries, and in fact from Ghana as well? The first important lesson for all the countries or for all the economies is that agriculture is extremely important. No matter how many cities you develop, how much of technology innovation we bring in, agriculture remains the base of the economy. The second important thing is the foreign exchange reserves. Foreign exchange reserves are very important, like how we have savings in our bank. So each country should ensure that they have sufficient foreign reserves to get through in terms of crisis. And the third important thing is that it is important to have the right people in power when a country is in crisis. Imagine you are the country and you are getting such a huge loan from some other person, and you're not able to spend correctly and generate the economy to repay the loan. Imagine your situation. You will be in a much harder situation a little later. So the importance of people and the people who govern are extremely important. Hope you found this video useful. Please continue watching Canadian Fables. Please leave your feedback or comments. Share this video, like this video, and let us know how we can improve this video if you feel so. We will see you in another great video shortly. Thank you for watching and have a great day.